and a Baby.
Hello, welcome to Bourbon and a Baby. My name is Jay. Max is not going to be joining us today because Max is still not 4 years old, which is a lot less than 21 years old, which is the age he would need to be to drink Blackened Rye the Lightning. And even though Max is too young to drink with me, he's definitely not too young to listen to and jam out to Metallica with me. So at least we have that going for us. But today is a special day. I've been looking forward to this one for a while since they announced, since Blackened, the whiskey company, which is Metallica's whiskey brand, since they announced that they were releasing this product, I was really excited about it. Wasn't able to find a bottle, so a big shout out to Ed from RWP Supply Company. He, on a recent trip to Chicago, was able to stop in and pick up a bottle of this for me, so appreciate you, Ed. But yeah, Blackened Rye the Lightning. Obviously, it's a play on the Ride the Lightning album name and song name from Metallica, their second album. And what's cool about this is it's a rye, obviously, but it is also finished not just with the proprietary black sound wave system that they use for the regular release series of Blackened, but it's also double barrel finished in Madeira and rum casks. So I don't think I've had a rum cask finished whiskey that I didn't like. So I really like kind of what that does, that infusion of the rum left over in the barrels with whiskey. I think usually does a lot of really good things. I like rum personally. Before I was into bourbon and whiskey, rum was kind of my go-to. So I still really like rum, and I really like the flavors that you get out of some rum. So really excited about this. And when you talk about rye and rum cask finished, the first thing that comes to my mind is Angel's Envy rye, which is they finish those in rum casks, and that is like such a good finished rye. It's almost like drinking liquid maple syrup, which I guess maple syrup is already kind of liquid, but less thick maple syrup. So really excited about this. Let's go ahead and give this a nose. And one thing I pick up right off the bat is that rum influence. I think that's kind of the prevailing scent that comes off of this. When you get beyond that, you start to pick up on the rye a little bit more. Kind of that bold spiciness that you come to equate with ryes. There's a fruity aspect to this. I'm not really able to place the fruit right now, but just kind of getting this kind of like fruity vibe coming off here. It's real, like there's a lot of sweetness, like some brown sugar. There is like a syrupy aspect. It just kind of exudes like this kind of like bold, complex flavor profile without even taking a drink yet. So I think this is one that if you really like a lot of different flavors, a lot of bold, different flavors, this is probably one that you're gonna like. And it's fun. It's fun to kind of dig in and see all these different things you can try to pick out. And I get just like the slightest hint of butterscotch too, which is a favorite note of mine. So I'm gonna go ahead and taste this. Cheers out there, everyone. there's a lot going on here. I forgot to mention the proof. It is 90 proof, which I believe that's what, yeah, that's the same as their regular offering is, 90 proof. 90 proof, it doesn't, it drinks, you do get kind of a kick at first, some heat, but I think that's more from the rye than it is from the proof. So on that aspect, like, it doesn't drink overly hot. And I definitely got that rye up front on my first sip, but this is my first sip of the day, so I want to take a second sip now that my mouth is a little bit more acclimated. There is a lot going on here. So a couple minutes ago, I said one of the first things that comes to mind with rye and rum cask finishing is Angel's Envy rye, and I don't get that at all. Angel's Envy rye to me, like I said, is like straight up drinking maple syrup. This is sweet, but it's like that perfect combination, because what a lot of rye drinkers are really looking for is that bold spiciness from the rye, and you definitely get that here. You get that bold, spicy rye right up front, and then you get the sweet notes kind of as it finishes. So yeah, it's kind of like this peppery rye bread up front, and then the lingering finish is butterscotch. There's like a hint of like mint that comes through on the finish too, which is pretty typical with ryes. That sweet note is just really coming forward to me as butterscotch. You can definitely taste that rum influence, like you could on the nose. And then that peppery rye bread too, just kind of, that's like the most prevalent flavor up front. And then those sweeter flavors kind of come, that sweet mintiness kind of comes through on the end. So what they've said about this is that it's a blend of high rye and low rye ryes, Kentucky straight ryes, that are between 5 and 8 years old. So that's making up the rye blend, and then of course finished in the Madeira and then the rum casks. 90 proof, like I mentioned. And what kind of separates Blackened from other whiskey brands is that, you know, they once they're in the barrels aging or finishing or whatever they're doing, I'm not sure exactly what part of the process they do this in, but they blast low frequency Metallica music at the barrels, and that supposedly kind of helps integrate, cause constant kind of disruption between the whiskey and the wood of the barrel, so it kind of speeds up that kind of process of kind of going in and out of the wood there. A lot of people are skeptical about that, but if you listen to interviews of Dave Pickerell, who helped start this brand before he passed away, he's a guy that I would trust as an expert, and he says you can tell a big difference from before the process and after the process. So, but what's cool about this in particular, so if you go to like a regular Blackened, their regular whiskey, they each have a batch number, and you can go to the website and find that batch, and then find the playlist that they of Metallica songs that they use for that process. With the rye, they don't have different, at least as of now, there's no batch number. I don't know if they'll potentially at some point maybe do a batch 2 or something, but what they did was they made a playlist, but they took the entire set from a performance that Metallica gave, a live performance that they gave at the Orion Plus Music Festival in 2012, where they played the Ride the Lightning, the entire album, which they had never done before. They played that live, but they played the tracks of the songs in reverse order. So that's kind of cool. That helped obviously name it and influence it. But you can also go to Blackened's website And when you go to like the Rye the Lightning and look up information, you can actually for free download that playlist. It's 10 songs. It's a live performance. You don't have to like show proof that you bought a bottle. It's just out there for free. So if you know Metallica, you know that they don't normally give away their stuff for free. They're not normally about that. So it's kind of a nice bonus to be able to do that and download that live performance for free. So definitely check that out, even if you don't own a bottle. And I always think it's cool. I think it's cool with the regular Blackened to have that playlist and play it at least once while you're sitting down and drinking it. Starting to get a little bit of like that brown sugar note too, along with the rye. And it's just I love how it starts off spicy, bold rye and finishes sweet butterscotch, and it's just a mint. It's just a really kind of cool process. One thing that I'll be interested to try, and I have a bottle of it so I can do this at some point, is I would be interested in trying this up against Barrel Bourbon's barrel seagrass, because barrel seagrass is also a rye that is aged in rum and Madeira casks. So I'd be kind of curious to see how these taste either similar or different from each other. The barrel seagrass is I'm pretty sure that they release that at cask strength. So you're gonna probably get a little bit more flavorfulness just from that alone. But be really curious to see kind of what these two taste like together. So at some point I'm gonna film a review of that barrel seagrass, and I'll kind of compare the two side by side and see kind of how similar or different they might be. The more and more I drink it, you still get that heavy rye up front, but it actually gets sweeter up front the more you go back to it. So it definitely it's almost like there's like this molasses flavor coming through now that I didn't get on the first couple of sips, which is really enjoyable. This is like whiskey in general, and especially ryes, are more suited for like fall and winter weather, just because they tend to be a little warmer. It's nice when it's a little cool and you can drink it and it helps warm you up. And sometimes it can be a little too much on a hot summer day, especially if you're trying to drink it outside, because you generally want something more refreshing. And even that being said, I still like to drink bourbon and whiskeys in the summer, but this is one that I could see, because I think, and it's largely because of that rum influence, I could see this as being one that you could sip also in the summer. You can sit out, maybe not in the direct sun on a super hot day, but maybe you got a covered patio or something. You can sit outside and just kind of enjoy this, because it does have this kind of tropical feel to it. And again, I think that comes from the rum. So overall, this runs around $80, I believe. At least that's what I got it for. So I definitely think in today's whiskey pricing, I think that it's totally worth it. I don't feel bad having spent that money on this. So I think that's right in line with what it's worth. If you're just a Metallica fan and you want to buy their whiskey just because you want it, but you're not particularly into whiskey, I would then, in that case, just buy the regular Blackened. I think you'll find that more to your liking. And it's at a little bit better of a price point too, lower price point. But if you're a whiskey lover, and especially a rye whiskey lover, and especially a Finnish whiskey lover, even if you don't like Metallica, or you think that it's kind of a gimmick with what they do with the sonic aging process, I still think you'll like this. I feel this is a whiskey a rye whiskey made for whiskey lovers, in my opinion. The Master Distiller there and Master Blender, Rob Dietrich, his name is signed on the bottle here. He took over for Dave Pickerell when he passed away. Rob's got a history. He came from Stranahan Distillery in Colorado, where they did a lot of finishing, barrel finishes, and so he definitely has a history, and I think he really likes doing stuff like that. So it's really cool seeing him now really putting his influence on the brand. I really like where they're going, and I'm excited for future releases of Blackened whiskey. Alright, so that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. That would help us out a lot. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. You can follow Max and myself on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're at Bourbon and a Baby across the board on all of those. And last but not least, you can buy yourself some Bourbon and a Baby merchandise at our shop on Spreadshirt. You'll find the link in the description below. Cheers, everyone. Oh, the spiciness came back on that one.
I love that song too.
This is a really fun sipper. All right, and one thing I like to do here is add about an ounce or so. I'm gonna have to pre-pour it because I forgot my tools, but about an ounce or so to our Bourbon and a Baby Infinity Blend that we have going strong here. I'm gonna want to give out samples of this soon. So if you would be interested in a sample from my Infinity bottle, in the comments below, just say I want a sample, and I'll reach out to you and see if I can make that happen.